All right, I think we're ready. So I am back at school. If you remember from last week, I was at home for 2 days. My children's caretaker, babysitter, nanny, whatever you want to say, was not able to watch them, so I had to go home because there was no one else to watch, so I had to work from home. But I'm back in the classroom today, and we have done pre-recorded lessons. If you need help with any of those lessons, you can always go back in the agenda. So you can see I'm clicking through the different days of our agenda. So I'm going back to the Friday the 18th. There's a YouTube video there for help with Benchmark 5. Go back to the 17th, help with the PowerPoint workshop. And you can even go back further to the 12th where there's help with the you can see the lesson I did there. So there's always videos available on the days if you missed or you need to make up work, okay? But I am back in class and excited to be working with you all. So the first thing on our agenda is that I need you to look at the slides in the World Studies landing page above. If your name is on the list for Benchmark 4, you need to submit it or finish it. Okay, that is a major grade. So if we go to that slide, you can just click over on the slide. It'll change every 5 seconds. But if your name is here, that means one of three things. One, you haven't submitted your career pathway flyer. Number two, you submitted but you didn't complete it. Or number three, there were major issues with it, and I put into the notes there that you need to work on. These are both classes, so all 100 freshmen that I teach. This is the whole list, so not just our class. But if your name is on that list, then you need to make sure that you're finishing Benchmark 4 ASAP. And that was something we were doing last week, and we're getting further and further behind. Now, talking about where we are in this class this year, we have this week, we have next week, and then we have fall break. After fall break, you are going to be coming into school on the A-B schedule, okay? So we'll be able to see you all in person for those days, okay? If I were you, my major goal would be get caught up with as much as possible over the next 2 weeks. So whenever I'm in person back at school, when we start really moving with these projects and things like that, because I've been going pretty slow actually, okay? So whenever we actually get in here and start hitting this faster, you're able to hit the ground running and be able to be right with us. So this is a great time for you to get caught up, okay? I think someone was trying to ask a question in the Google Meet. Just somebody had a question? Okay, so Lucas said, wait, when are we starting in-person classes? So right now, the first day of in-person classes is Monday, I believe it's October 12th. Let me double check the day. I'm almost positive that's correct.
That's correct, sir.
Yes, October 12th. So that Monday, October 12th, will be A students. So if you're a student, which I don't have the list, so don't ask if I'm A or B, but you need to talk to parents or call the school or email. We can figure that out. But you should have known from your assignment over the summer. So October 12th is the first day we're back in person for AB, okay, for A group. B group their first day will be October 15th. Now, I can't speak for every single teacher, but I could say that I'd say 90% of the teachers, if not all of them, are going to run a schedule just like we're doing right now. So I am going to teach every day, okay? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's a work day, Thursday, Friday. So if you are an A student, I will have you in class, and I actually have some students here right now I'll be doing this exact same thing with them, okay? With you on the A day. If you're sitting at home, you're still logging in, if you're a B student, and working with me, okay? We'll talk about that more later, but we'll continue this schedule. So Wednesdays will stay as kind of a work day, okay, while we're doing this for now. That might change, but for now, that's what we're going to do, okay? And I apologize. One of the reasons I'm going to keep it the same way, and most teachers are going to kind of keep doing it the same kind of way with distance learning instruction with people in the building, out of the building, is so that the changes aren't so crazy for you all, okay? But long story short, you have 2 weeks of class, fall break, so 3 weeks technically before we're in person, before y'all start coming in. Okay. Do you mind shutting that door for me? Thank you. So let's talk about what we're doing today. I went in and put zeros in for benchmark 5. So that is if you did not even open the document and open the template and hit make a copy, or not make a copy, but copy the template and then hit submit. If you didn't do that, you got a 0. And guys, this is 10 points in knowledge and thinking. That is our biggest grade so far. Think of this benchmark 5 as a test. Okay. It is a test. And if you have not turned it in, you have a 0 on it. Okay. So it's very important that you go and make sure that you do that. Okay. We're going to come back to benchmark 5 in just a second. And I'm going to actually do a workshop today where I build a benchmark 5 works cited, and you can do that with me. Okay. Now, if you're not done with benchmark 4, then you can go ahead and do benchmark 5, but you need to complete that on your own time. Okay. So benchmark 5, and I have a few of y'all text or emailing and messaging saying, I submitted benchmark 5. If you're done with benchmark 5 during that time, work with me through these to make sure it's done properly. So this is like a test grade that I'm allowing you to work with me on, okay? Because the 4 sources that you used are basically going to be almost the same as the 4 that I would use to research teacher, because we've been like really pacing through this together, okay? So before we do that though, I want you to do number 3, create a Turnitin.com account, okay? So this Turnitin.com, I've been going through, I've started grading all of the career pathway flyers, benchmark 4s. The major issue I'm starting to notice on those is that a lot of you all seem to be taking and copy and pasting from your websites. You cannot do that in high school writing, okay? I don't know about middle school. You might have been able to get away with it, but it's going to be it's not going to work in high school. And then if you plan on going to college, it will not work, okay? Because colleges automatically, when you submit, will send it through what I'm going to send it through today, and you can be kicked out of the college. I had a roommate that plagiarized on the paper, and it wasn't just a failed on that one paper that he wrote, but he was actually kicked out of the college and had to like reapply and go in front of a board and explain why plagiarism and cheating isn't acceptable. And it was this huge to do, and he felt like it was not justified, but they take it very seriously. That's why your freshman year of high school, we want to start helping you to work on that, because plagiarism it's stealing someone else's intellectual property. So we can't do that. Okay. So Turnitin.com is a way to check that for you to see it, for us to see it. Okay. So let's create a Turnitin.com account together. If you click on this link, it will take you to the instructions, and you'll need that, but I'm going to walk you through it. Okay. So the first thing is you're going to go to Turnitin.com. So if you click on that link, it'll open up another website. So everybody's doing that with me. You're going to Turnitin.com. So you clicked on that link. And that link did not work because it didn't work on mine. But if you just type into the URL, turnitin.com, turnitin.com, hit enter, it will take you to the website. Okay? So I'm going to give everybody a second. Again, it is turnitin.com. So I'm going to be looking on GoGuardian to make sure everybody is able to get there. Turnitin.com.
Hey, William, did you try typing it in?
Yeah, so William, we're going to go and type into the URL turnitin.com. Yep, so if you look in the turnitin.com. All right, William, if it's not working, just kind of follow along. Maybe it's your internet. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. It's TURN ITIN.com. Sorry. Yeah, and then there's I typed it in there. Maybe you can copy and paste it in. So once you hit turnitin.com, you're going to go to create account. So click create account in the top right-hand corner, create account. And then you're going to click on student. Okay, it says create a user profile, and then down below it says teacher or student, teaching assistant, instructor. You're going to click on student. All right, so if you go back to the World Studies information, it is now asking for you to give a class ID. Okay, the class ID is right there. You can copy and paste it if you want from Echo. Hit copy and paste in, or you can just type it in. So I can read it to you if you're on the screen. It's 26596712. I'll repeat that. It is 26596712. So you're going to enter that class ID into that class ID line. The class enrollment key is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And that's also on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Class ID, to repeat the class ID, is 26596712. And then the class enrollment key is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the rest is kind of, you can kind of figure it out. So put your first name, put your last name. Don't change anything on display names as, but put your first and last name. Aiden, is it not working for you? Okay, so everybody should be putting their name in. So your next step is your email address. Use your school email address. So it should be your first name dot last name at stu.owensboro.kyschools.us. So use your school email or whatever you use to log into your computer. And then you have to type that twice. All right, so for your password, and I'll slow down, sorry. For your password needs to be something that you remember. So whatever you use to log into your computer, use that, okay? If that says it's not long enough, modify it to where you will remember it, okay? Make sure you remember it. All right, and then you're going to go to a secret question. You're going to choose whatever question you want. Obviously, choose one that you're definitely going to remember the answer to. So what song did you have your first slow dance to? I had no idea. So I'm not going to answer that one. I would click one. What was the name of my childhood best friend? Was Bubba. I will remember that forever. So, whatever question works for you. Is everyone in here good? Don't hesitate to say something. All right, and then you are going to go to and click I'm not a robot, and it might make you click on pictures, but it might not. It might just do this and give you a check mark. Once that you got that check mark, hit I agree, create profile. All right, so once you have done that, your profile is created, and you should be logged into our class. Now, once you get in there, you're going to submit benchmark for your career pathway flyer to this website. And I have listed in here how to submit an assignment to turnitin.com linked in the agenda. So you are going to, after you've logged into turnitin.com, follow these steps. So the first thing is you're going to click on World Studies class. So you'll click on the actual class. And then you're going to go to the assignment and click the submit button. Okay. I can't show you this because I am not in the class. Okay. As a student, so I'm not able to show it to you. Oh, actually, I was going to have a student. Yeah. Justice volunteered to show his. So I'm going to go back to the Google Meet. I'm going to stop sharing, stop presenting. I'm going to let him present. So come on over. So I'm going to use his computer to present this. Sorry. Oh man, I just can't get that figured out. All right, so now I'm going to use his computer to do this. And I'm going to present using his. See if I can make this work. All right. Are y'all able to see his screen? Everybody good? You can't see it? If you can't see Justice's screen, then can you see it now? Yes? Okay. All right. So he's in turnitin.com, and he went to the class. Let's see if I can resubmit. So he's going to resubmit. And yeah, it will let him. So once you get in here, you're going to go and click on the single file upload. And you're going to do cut and paste upload. And you're going to go down and hit, let's see if that'll work. Upload, no, I don't want to let you do that. Oh, you're going to click on single file upload. So the submission should be single file upload. So make sure it says that here. If it doesn't, click on this and switch it to single file upload. You're going to scroll down and you're going to click choose from Google Drive. So you're going to make sure that your submit up here is a single file upload. If it doesn't say that, click on it and you can switch it. It should say single file upload. And then you're going to scroll down and do choose from Google Drive. And you're going to go to documents, and probably the easiest thing is to search it. So flyer is probably the only document that has the word flyer in it. So click on that, and that will choose that. And then you hit upload. It will upload the document. It might take a second. Oh, it says enter a title. So I'm going to call it Career Pathway Plan. And we'll re-upload. and then you'll see that it correctly uploaded. Okay, so I did a single file upload, went and chose a Google Doc, chose this document, hit confirm. Now we'll upload the document, and then you can hit return to assignment list. And that will take you back out to your assignment, because this is where you want to see similarities, and that is highlighted right here, similarities, and it says processing. So we're going to give it just a second, and eventually it will pop up with how much is missing from that website, or how much is actually, I'm sorry, not missing, how much is copied from websites. And I've already looked at Justice's. His is 0, okay? He did not copy and paste anything from any websites. He didn't copy it word for word, so he is good to go on this. Let me try to refresh it, see if it worked. Yeah, and now you can see he has 0% plagiarized, okay? So you can actually click, it says, this is the percentage of text in your paper that match sources in our database. Click to view the similarity report. So we can click on this, and it would actually show his work. And if we scrolled through and he had anything plagiarized, it would highlight it, and we'd be able to see what was plagiarized, okay? Now, if you have 1 or 2 sentences that are plagiarized, that's not a big deal, okay? Like, on like a whole page. So if it's just like a few little pieces of a sentence, that is, it's not that big of a deal. It's when you have like more than one sentence or paragraphs that are like, this is copied, this is copied, this is copied, this is copied, word for word. That's when you have major issues, okay? So that resource is for you. If you're not done with Benchmark 4, obviously you need to finish Benchmark 4, then upload it. And that's something we'll return to later on this week, but I wanted you all to have that resource, and it's a good way to kind of go in and make sure that you are not copying and pasting, stealing from that. So let me get him muted again. Justice. All right, so we can now go back. We can now go back to Echo, and let's start talking about what we're going to be doing for the rest of class. So number 1, if you are not done with Benchmark 4, you need to get that done. Number 2, Benchmark 5 needs to be completed. So what I'm going to do today, because I have quite a few that were struggling with Benchmark 5 that emailed me over the weekend or I spoke to this morning. So I'm going to run through Benchmark 5 with you all. And I'm going to show you how I would do Benchmark 5, and you all can kind of copy along with me and kind of do what I'm doing to be able to find success in that. So let's all go to Benchmark 5. If you are finished with Benchmark 5 and you think you did a really good job, you're also watching to make sure that everything looks good. If at any point you feel like you're good to go and you can go and work on other things, it's fine. But you need, if you do not have Benchmark 5 done or are not positive, work with us. So let's go down to Benchmark 5. Switch over to my student mode here. So everybody should go into Benchmark 5 right now. Hold on a second. That's fine. What'd you ask? Yep. Mm-hmm. And then you can see how much of it is plagiarized, which none of yours should be because I helped you on yours too. All right, so I'm going into the student view. And I'm going to go down to Benchmark 5 Works Cited page. And then I'm going to open that up. And we're going to work through this together. So the first thing I do on my Works Cited pages is I go and get all of my URLs, okay? So at the top center, you're going to have the Works Cited title. I'm going to go all the way to the left-hand margin. And you guys are using the same sites that I am. So you can kind of be doing exactly what I'm doing, except for a little bit different because you're looking at different careers, okay? Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Benchmark let's see here. I'm going to go to benchmark, or I'm going to go to works cited practice, and I'm going to pull over that example of what a works cited link should look like. So I'm going to pull that over for everyone to see. So this first one right here. This is our example. So I'm going to pull that into
Are we supposed
benchmark.
to be seeing your screen?
Say it again.
Are we supposed to be seeing your screen?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have it shared. Thank you. I'd shared his and didn't reshare it. Sorry. So everybody should be on benchmark 5. And I just copied and pasted this from the practice as kind of a, this is what I'm doing for each of my resources. Okay, and I can delete this at the end. But the first thing I'm going to do for my works cited is I'm going to go get my 4 sources, 4 URLs. Okay, so the first one was the bls.gov. So you want to go out and get your bls.gov website. And mine was high school teacher, so yours might have been astronaut, plumber, engineer, whatever it might have been. So I'm going to go out and get this URL, and I'm going to keep this open. I'm going to put it right next to my benchmark. And I'm going to paste this in, okay? So I'm going to do this one first. And we'll do just one at a time. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to go over, I'm going to look for my author, okay? So we're just looking at the different parts of this citation, okay? So I'm looking at the author, okay? So I'm going to go over here and look for the author. Now, we have talked about this before. We've actually done this one before, but it has no author. So we skip the author, and we are going to start with title of short work. So title of short work always has quotation marks around them. So I'm going to click down here and start with a quotation mark. And then I'm going to get a title of the short work. So the title of the short work here is high school teachers. So I'm going to go get that high school teacher. And I'm going to come in. And then if I double click and hit paste without formatting, it will put it right in there. One of our students showed me that. So at the end of my title, I put a period because I'm just following right along with this. End of the title, quotation marks, space, and now I'm going to do container title. And I'm going to, so yours should say plumber, astronaut, engineer, whatever it might be, computer software designer, whatever it is, should be right there. Now I'm going to go and put italicize, and I'm going to go and find what my container is. So my container is where I find this article within, okay? So that is actually within my Occupational Outlook Handbook. Okay, so it's right here, Occupational Outlook Handbook. So I can't copy that. I can actually copy it right here. So I'll copy that. And it's okay to copy this because you're doing exactly what's in the website. That's actually what you want. Okay, so I'm going to paste that in. Oh, I did it the wrong way. So I'm going to do paste without formatting. One more time. Double click, paste without formatting. And then at the end of my container title, I put a period, a space, and now I'm going to look for my publisher. Okay, now what I messed up is it's not italicized, so I need to go back and make sure my Occupational Outlook Handbook is italicized. Now I'm looking for my publisher. So publisher can usually be found either at the very top of the website or the very bottom of the website. And we can see it right here, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm going to go get that. And this is all exactly the same for your website. And I keep doing that without having to do the formatting. This should be exactly like it is for your website. So if you're following along, you're typing exactly what I'm putting. Okay? So there's no reason that you should not have this done at the end of the day. There. And at the end of our publisher, we put a comma and a space. Now we want the day, month, and year. Okay, so we know it's Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. So we do the day first, so smallest to biggest. So day, month, year. So the day is the 1st, the month is September, and the year was 2020. Okay, and then after the day, month, year publication, comma, and then since I already have my URL there, I could go back and copy and paste the URL in, but I'm going to go ahead and just backspace until it is in there. I'll put a space between them. Okay. Now I already had the hanging indent ready to go, but I'm going to show you how to do that if you don't have the hanging indent yet. So you should have something, and always put a period at the end of your website, but you should have something that looks like this. Okay. So to make this complete, we need a hanging indent. So the way you do a hanging indent is you put the cursor at the beginning of the citation. Then you go up to the little triangle that's pointed down and the rectangle, and we're going to click on the triangle, go over to 0.5, and then we're going to click on the rectangle and go over to 0. Okay, so you click on the triangle, drag that over to 0.5, and then click on the rectangle that goes back to 0. Now we have a nice hanging indent. And the reason you do the hanging indent is so it's really easy to see the different sources. And you can see where the source starts and where the information ends. And that just makes it a lot easier because usually, let's say we go to Wikipedia. We looked at Wikipedia site one day, and they love to put lots of sources on their Wikipedia pages, trying to give it more authority. And that Burger King Whopper, we looked at that like a week and a half ago. It had like 120 some odd sources. So sometimes you have a lot of sources. The last thing you want to do for a source like this is try to get rid of that awkward white space that's right in the middle. And the way we do that is we just put a space in our URL. So I'm going to go, so it's about this length. So I'm going to think about the same length. I'm going to put a space after library and see if that works. So I put a space after library, and that jumps up. It really still has a lot of blank space here, so I'm going to actually undo that. I'm going to hit backspace. Comes back. And then I'm going to put a space after school, okay? So I'm just kind of, okay, and that looks much better. And then I'm going to remove the hyperlink by clicking on the hyperlink and then hitting this remove link button. So you just click on the link and then hit that remove link button. And that source is done, okay? So I'm going to give you a second to kind of catch up on that. I'm going to walk around the room because I've got a few students in here and see how they're doing. And then I'll come right back and we'll do the next source. So give me just a second. All right, so let me go back and unmute myself. So I just walked around the room. I have a few students in here that have come in to get some help. And they are saying that they're struggling with this because I'm kind of going fast. So on this next one, I'm going to go nice and slow, and everyone can kind of be on the same pace with me, doing it right with me, okay? And this one is going to be very similar as well to the ones that you've done before. So what I want you to do first step, is I want you to go to the website, and you can also pull these websites from your other benchmarks. But if you open up the website, myfreecareertest.com, so everybody in here is doing that too, that needs to be following along with this. You're opening up myfreecareertest.com. Of course, it's blocked. If you go back to your benchmark 3, gathering source information, it's your second, or your crap test, any of those. But if you go to benchmark 3 and you open up your benchmark 3, you already have the websites there. So you can just use the website that's linked there. Okay. So you use those. For some reason mine won't pull up, so I'm going to pull it up from here. There you go. So it should look like this, yourfreecareertest.com. And I'm even, because just for simplicity's sake, go ahead. Somebody have a question? Okay. So your free career test, and I'm going to go to careers. and you're going to find your career. So mine was teacher, and it was a high school teacher. So it should look like this. And if you are really struggling and you can't find this website, I'm going to just say it right here. You can use the website I'm using right now. Okay. So if you go to yourfreecareertest.com/high school teacher, high-school-teacher/ you can use that. Okay. And I'm going to just copy and paste that URL into the Google Doc. So we're going to use that as our source. So I'm going to go around the room really quick and make sure everybody's up to date on that. You guys can make sure to type in that URL right there onto your works cited page. All right, so we're on that yourfreecareertest.com. I'm going to go to the website and I'm going to see that it says, sorry, I got to find the website. It says that I'm going to look for an author. There is no author, okay? There is no author, so I'm going to skip the author, okay? So the last name, first name, this is my example at the top, last name, first name. I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go straight to the title of short work, okay? So the title of the short work for this website is that first title at the very top right here. What does a high school teacher do? I want to copy that. Now, yours might be different. If you're looking at mechanic or you're looking at a plumber or something like that, it might say, what does a plumber do? What does a mechanic do? What does engineer do? What does an astronaut do? Whatever it might be. But you're going to go back and you're going to paste that in. And again, if you're doing it with me, you are going to just do exactly what I'm doing if you're struggling to keep up, because this is just good practice to show you how to do it. Now, what do we put around that? We go up here and kind of look at our cheat sheet, and it is quotation marks, okay? We're putting quotation marks around that, okay? Now, you don't put a period at the end of it because there's a question mark, so it's already got a punctuation from the actual title. Then we put a space. Now we're looking for the container title, okay? Everybody good with that? Yes. So then we're going to do the container title. So we're going to go back over here and look for the container title. Okay. So what is our container? It is actually going to be, if I scroll down here and I look, I don't really see anything other than your free career test. Okay. It could be careers here because it's under careers, but we're going to go with your free career test. Okay. So we're going to just type in your free career test. And then at the end of the container title, we always put a period. Then I'm going to highlight your free career test, and we're going to put that in italics. Okay. I'm going to unitalicize and hit space. So your free career test is italicized and put a period. So we've got that title in quotation marks. What does a high school teacher do in quotation marks? And then in italicized, your free career test. And I'm kind of using the students that I have, a few students I have in the room as kind of a pacing for you guys. So once you guys are good, give me a thumbs up. Good. Good. All right, so the next thing we're looking for is the publisher. Who published this information? Now, if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see who the publisher is. Now, my face is over top of it. So you can actually see it's Rethink Old School, Inc. So we're going to actually keep the incorporated out. We're just going to do the Rethink Old School, okay? So Rethink Old School. It's one word, Rethink Old School. Okay, it's kind of weird. I'm going to put the capitalizations in there so you can see it. Rethink Old School. And then we're going to put a comma at the end of our publisher. So our publisher is Rethink Old School, one word, because that is actually what is in the website at the bottom. Rethink Old School. I guess think wouldn't be capitalized on that. Rethink Old School. And then a comma after that. Okay. So we've got our title, we've got our container, we've got our publisher. Now we need the date. So if we go and look, if we look throughout this website, and we've done this one before, there is no date. Okay. There's no date associated. We can look in other places. There's no dates on this website. So if I go back, we just skip day, month, year of publication, and we go straight to the URL. Okay. And I had the URL right down here. I'm just going to hit backspace until it's all together, and we're good. Okay. Now that is our source. Okay, that is our MLA citation, works cited source. So now if I look, I have that little awkward white space at the end of that first line. So I'm going to put a space in this URL, and I'm going to click right after "you're free" and hit space. And it should pop up. It didn't pop anything up, so I went too far. Okay, so I'm going to erase that space, and I'm going to go click right before "your," and it pops up. And then I'm going to remove that URL, so I click on that blue and remove it. I'm going to give you a second to get your URL to where it doesn't have that weird space. All right, so we're going to do our next source. Oh, we didn't do our our hanging indent. So we need to do our hanging indent. So you're going to click at the beginning of that source. Click at the beginning of it. And you're going to go up to the triangle. You're going to click on that triangle and drag it over to 0.5. And then you're going to click on the rectangle. And you're going to drag it over to 0. And that will create your hanging indentation. Hey, Gavin, will you mute, please? Thank you. All right, so let's go back and continue working on our next source. So our next source is going to be the college that you chose. Okay, whatever college you researched, you're going to go to that website. So if you researched University of Louisville or Eastern Kentucky University or the university, whatever university it might have been, you're going to use that as your source. Okay. So we're going to go, I used Eastern Kentucky University. I'm going to go to Eastern Kentucky University. And I used the admissions website because I looked at like what it took to get into the everything. And again, on this one, I'm okay since we're just really practicing for you guys to use EKU admissions. If you're having trouble figuring out exactly what website to do, I'm kind of modifying this to allow you guys to do whatever works for you and helps you to learn how to do this. So if you want to work right along and do the same site as I'm doing, that's okay. So I'm going to copy the admissions.eku.edu website, and I'm going to go put that into the benchmark. That is the website that I'm using. And I don't like that because it's using the wrong font. I can do that. And I'm going to use this website. So the first thing I'm looking for is the author. So we're going to go last name, first name of the author. And we're going to see, I'm going to bring over my EKU website next to it so I don't have to click a billion places. And I want to see that there is no author on this page. Okay, now there is a Office of Admissions like dean's name here, but that is not who wrote this website. Okay, I'm not going to say that's who wrote the website. So I'm going to skip the author's name, and I'm going to go to that title of short work, which is Virtual Admission Services. Okay, that is actually who is putting this information out. The Virtual Admissions Services. I'm going to go quotation mark virtual admission. I think it was Virtual Admission Services. I put a period at the end of that with the end of quotation marks. It doesn't pop up what?
What number did we drag from that table to?
0.5.
No offer. So you're just going to do what job, what degree?
Everybody else good? All right. So, sorry, I had to go help somebody. So, Virtual Admission Services, and then we're going to go over and we're going to check what is the title of our container. And the title of our container is actually right here. It's admissions, because we're in the admissions section of the website. So, our title container is actually going to be admissions. So, we're going to do that in italics. We're going to end our title of container with a period, and then we're going to put our publisher. And our publisher is EKU, Eastern Kentucky University. Okay. And then at the end of our publisher, we're going to put a comma.
Do you know what LLC is?
Yeah, it's a limited liability corporation. You actually are going to leave that off of your publisher's information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So after we do the publisher, we're going to put the month, day, month, year, and I already know there is no date on this website. So I'm not going to do a date, but yours might. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to go straight to the URL. So I'm going to bring the URL up again, and we'll be good to go. Now I went ahead and did the hanging indent. I'm going to take that away so I can show you how to do that again. But again, I have this white space, so I'm going to be able to take something. So I'm going to put a space between EKU and admissions. There you go. Remove that hyperlink. And then now we're going to do our hanging indent. I'll give you a second so you can catch up. Okay, now to do the hanging indent, you are going to go click on the beginning of the source. Then you're going to go up to the triangle that's pointing down, click on it, drag it over to 0.5. And then you're going to go to your box and drag that over to 0. And that will give you your hanging indentation. I forgot to put a period at the end of our source. So I'm going to leave it right there. I know we had our fourth source, Indeed.com. I'm going to let you all work on that on your own to give you one that you need to do. But before we do that, I want you to go back to Echo. So everybody do this with me. Go back to Echo. And I want you to hit that Submit My Work button on Benchmark 5. Or I'm sorry, on Benchmark 4. Okay, because I think a lot of you all, sorry, it is Benchmark 5. My apologies. Benchmark 5, hit the Submit My Work button because I think a lot of you all forgot to hit that Submit My Work button, and you are not getting credit because you've done the work. You just forgot to hit the Submit My Work button, and I'm not able to see that. That might be the case for some of you all on Benchmark 4 as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there.